Amazing. All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. So I was having a conversation a little while ago with Jay DeFalco, who is here with us today. And he brought up, he used the word that's in the, that we used in the mastermind text message going out. What a crazy idea. Airbnb arbitrage. I'm like, all right, Jay, I need to know more about this. We started laying into it and going a little bit deeper on how he's doing this. And I said, are you comfortable sharing? He goes, absolutely. Now, we're also going to do a little time management when we're done. And the reason it's so great to plug time management in here as well is Jay runs like 4 different businesses at any given time, besides being a husband and everything else, which actually qualifies as a business in itself, or at least a job. And so we're going to talk about his time management too. Jay, are you here? You on the call, bud?
I'm here.
There you are. Oh, what's going on, man? You're driving. I didn't recognize you because it's I got everybody on small screen. Good to see you, bro. What the hell is arbitrage with Airbnb? What is it?
Well, typically with Airbnbs, everybody goes the long route, sometimes painful route of actually purchasing the property and acquiring it for themselves and their portfolios. So that's the long game. Typically you got to come up with, a minimum. If you're going to do an FHA situation where you're going to share the property or something like that, you can get in as low as 3.5%. But typically when you're doing investment properties, it can be as much as, 20, 25% down payment. Then you've got your closing costs on top of that. Most agents are not rocking, $100,000 extra in the bank. So another way of approaching the situation, which I'm actually going to be doing that as well. I'm looking for a mountain house somewhere in the Smokies or something like that. So I do want to acquire a vacation home for myself and then Airbnb that as well. However, in the meantime, to utilize some of the capital and the cash that I have on hand, you can do something called rental arbitrage. And basically what you're doing is you're calling up landlords and you're saying, hey, Mr. Landlord, I have a business opportunity for you. Let me lay out the business plan. And then you start to explain to them the pros and the cons. And usually when I start out, I've actually got quite a few fish on the hook that are interested in doing this with me and being a business partner. Just like you encourage all the time, call them your business partner. Allow them to know it's okay to make a profit. It's okay to be in business, and say, as my business partner, this is what it looks like. And you ask them, what is the most expensive part about being a landlord? Every single time they're going to say the turnover. Every time I turn over this property and have to get another lease signed, it's going to cost me tons and tons of money, at least $3,000, if not $5,000. So you explain to them, I've got a different business model. It's where you can win and I can win. And you start to explain to them that what I would like to do is and you got to be honest with them. You can't be shady. You need to tell them exactly what your plan is. So basically say, hey, Mr. Landlord, I would like to rent your property from you at a corporate lease. And I would like to sign on for 2 or even 3 years, but you got to do your research first. And I'll get into that in a second. Do your research to find out if the property is going to cash flow or not. So once you do that, you talk to the landlord and you say, basically, I would like to run an Airbnb or a short-term rental. And there's a lot of different platforms you can use that. Here are the pros. Pro number 1, the property is going to be cleaned on a daily or weekly basis. So it's always going to be in pristine, top shape, perfect condition all the time. It's going to be fully furnished in case the landlord needs pictures of the home for advertising purposes or something like that. You're going to carry insurance for them on multiple different levels, umbrella policies and things, in case something goes wrong. They're going to be taken care of. You got to prove those different things to them. And basically, you want to reassure them that when you're done with that property, they're going to get something that is going to be market ready as soon as they get possession back again. And that's the biggest selling point for landlords.
So they make full rent. They have no downtime. You've got a 3-year time frame is what we're suggesting on this, a 3-year lease. The thing that concerns me is now I'm tied in for long term. Is it doable to do a 1 year with 1 year extensions already built into it, so they're ready to go with the idea that it's going to carry on, but regardless, it'll come back perfect?
Absolutely. You need to do what's best for your business. I think 3 years, as long as you do your research properly, and you can do that. The one that I use is airdna.co. And what that's going to do is you can actually purchase particular zip codes or sections, and then you start to run the data. You start to run the numbers. What is a 2-bedroom going for? What's a 3-bedroom going for? What's the occupancy rate? when are the busy seasons. So you can start to plan for all this stuff. And as long as you do your research ahead of time, it shouldn't be too big of a deal.
Joe, what's that? What Jade software again? Or with what you just said, that you said Air
It's
something?
airdna.co, AIRDNA.co. And like I said, you can purchase.
AIRDNA.co. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. And that's what I use for to find out whether or not we're going to have occupancy and what kind of returns we can roughly expect. And what's nice is that pulls data from not only Airbnbs, but it pulls it from Verbo and private transactions as well, which is really good because not only am I going to be pushing on Airbnb and VRBO, I'm also going to be pushing into certain areas. I'm actually looking, I'm going for a different niche in the market. I'm looking a little bit more towards necessary housing versus creating an experience. So there's two different ways you can go. You can either, like I'm doing, I'm creating necessary housing for people like traveling nurses, those who are visiting family. So my Airbnb is very, very basic. So we went to IKEA, we furnished it with all furniture from IKEA. Cost us, let me see, furnishings. So far, we're up to 4,000 in furnishings.
Mhm.
So, and that even included a washer and dryer, which is great. I'm advertising towards people like the traveling nurse. So the traveling nurse, if you guys don't know, traveling nurses, they get as much as $4,000 and $5,000 worth of housing vouchers when they're traveling. So that's big. I mean, that's massive. So they're going to have enough money to be able to pay for $150 a day or $175 a day. They're going to be able to afford that. So, and what I also do is I also offer traveling nurses discounts because what they're going to do is they're going to be renting from you on a short-term pricing strategy, but they may sign a lease or they may sign up for 2 months or 3 months at a time. So therefore, that's knocking down some of your overhead. You're not having to clean as much. You're not having to maintain the unit as much. And you're still getting that daily rate, which is amazing. So you got to jump on, the traveling nurse Facebook pages. You got to jump on certain websites, reach out to people. And that's really where the key is creating more and more relationships, and then the income just kind of falls into place after that.
Wow. So when you've done one of these, just to give us an example, the one with the nurse with $150 a night for rental on there, that I just did some quick math. That comes out to about $4,500 for the month.
Right.
And how's the overhead kind of mix in there? So let's say we've got $1,500 worth of rent, which is probably pretty fair and equitable rent for a property that would charge $150 a day. Is that about right?
Yeah, mine's $1,150.
Okay, $1,150. And what about your cleaning? Who's your crew? How do you hire a crew to do that? I mean, give us kind of now let's say we've committed to doing this. We've gone to airdna.co. We've done our research. We know that it works. I love what you're talking about with the nurses and all, because to me that actually resonates. That's helping out. But I need a cleaning crew. How does that work? What else do I need? Do I need to advertise it? Is there an expense in the advertising? Jay? I think I lost him. That's okay, because Deborah, calling on you. Deborah Booth, going to call on you. Jay, when you're hooking up, give me 1 second. I want to grab a Jeb. I lost you for a second, bro. Deb, you brought up a book, Short-Term Rental, Long-Term Wealth. Positive book, you're saying, for sure?
It's written by Avery Carl, which is actually in our group.
Okay.
It is a wonderful book, and it goes through everything that he's talking about. The AirDNA is actually mentioned in there, along with the Key Data and Mashvisor websites. And there's other websites that she gives in there as well. It teaches you how to find your housekeeper. Basically going to social media sites, finding several, getting reviews, getting them to interview with you and stuff like that. It tells you kind of what to ask, what to look for. And it teaches you that your housekeeper is going to also know recommendations that'll lead you to your maintenance man, a handyman. And once you have those two people, you basically have everyone that you're going to need, because they're both going to have referrals for you.
That's terrific. Now, y'all, Jay, we're going to come right back to you. I wanted to pull this up real quick. Avery Carl is one of our business partners. She's a top agent for our particular brokerage. I mean, like, in the world. She's absolutely amazing. Wrote this book, Short-Term Rental, Long-Term Wealth. I'll pull it up on the screen in a little bit. It's available in Audibles, so it's definitely a must read, or of course in paperback. If you're interested in the Airbnb, I would strongly encourage you to do this. We are going to have her speaking at the summit. I didn't tell you all that till right now, but she will be speaking at the summit. And it is my sincere hope that we can have Avery be speaking at EXP's convention in Las Vegas, because she comes with a ton of knowledge. Thank you, Deborah, very much for that. I appreciate it. And particularly the plug. I didn't realize that was her book, and that is awesome. By the way, she's also a rock star. I mean, she really is. She's just an amazing person. So if you have an opportunity to seek out the book, please do. Jay, let's go back to you. Are you with us again, bud? Awesome.
Yep.
Got to watch those fingers, dude. You can hang up instantly. It's like, it's amazing when you can touch your neck button.
It's part of that time management we were talking about the other day.
So we talked on a lot of what we do to find the maid service that's going to do the cleaning on there, the handyman, that we can find some of that in the short-term rental, long-term wealth. Again, I'm going to put that up afterwards so everybody can see it. So it's on my screen. I'll make sure we share it. What did you do, Jay, particularly you? What did you do to set up your crew, and what does your crew look like to maintain this Arbitrage Airbnb?
Well, it's funny you ask. So we picked up, what I'm doing is I'm working with a couple investors very closely, and they're picking up multifamily properties all around my town very, very quickly. And I've been helping them through this process. I pitched the idea. I first developed rapport with them and, quite a relationship. And then I kind of pitched them this idea, and I says, hey, this is what I'm thinking. What are you guys thinking? I just kind of introduced it a little bit, and then it started to take off and snowball from there. I was able to talk them into the situation. They signed the lease. We're good to go. We get started. It goes live here probably next week. Just got to get ready for pictures on this particular one. And what's really nice is it's in an apartment complex. They're townhouses, adorable looking little places. Great location, public transportation. I mean, I really thought this out to make sure that it was going to work for the people who actually needed it. And as I was walking into the unit one day, the very next door neighbor, she actually cleans houses for a living. So she lives right next door to the Airbnb. And I mean, you can't get more convenient than that. And we worked out some pricing, and we're going to start from there. And then it's going to be open for negotiation. We do have things on paper, but I also told her if it doesn't work out and we need a little bit more money or something like that, we'll work together on that. But other than that, she's going to be right next door. I have on-site laundry, so we can do all the laundry while we're cleaning the unit. Everything else, for the most part, is managed between not only myself, but also my wife. And then the key for, once we start getting into the time management portion, is I do have a virtual assistant that helps me. And they help organize all four of my businesses across the platform. So,
okay, cool. That's going to be a lot of fun. I want to dig into that one. So, how about some advice from you? You've done this now. How many do you have that you're actually working? How many Airbnbs are you involved with?
3 currently, and then I've got probably 3 or 4 in the pipes, hopefully in the next 6 months.
Okay, so my question is going to be, and don't answer this yet, because I definitely want to go to Deborah Deere. She's been hanging out patiently, and Will as well. Get some questions from them. But I wanted to know advice on where to start. Do I live in the Orlando area. Do I go to Miami for my first one, or do you advise that we kind of keep it local? Now, let's get back to that, because I want to give them a chance before you answer that, Jay, because your direction on that's critical to me, but I don't want to forget it. Deborah Deere, you got your hand up, young lady. Hi, good morning. How are you? Wonder if she's just raising her hand saying, I believe in you, high five. Well, Deb, if you can.
Oh, sorry. I don't have my hand up. Okay. I didn't even realize I did. I'm just listening.
That's okay. I just didn't want to forget you. I didn't want to forget you.
Yeah,
that's all good.
I didn't realize my hand was up.
No, that's fine. Will, let's go to Mr. Matthews, my dear friend here in the Orlando area. Will, you got a question? Something you want to say?
Yeah, I've got a question. I've got a couple of these opportunities that I've been looking at for a while, but always the obstacle for me has been shielding the actual homeowner, the property owner, from liability. And so I don't know if Jay can really speak a lot to that, whether I need to talk to an insurance person, an attorney, or whatever. But I think for me, that's kind of the most important thing in presenting this package, is how will my management of this property for them shield them from any liability?
Great question. Thank you, bud, very much. I didn't even think about that. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, so what I have done is I have a couple different things. I started a LLC. My LLC has liability insurance through Insure. From there, I have an umbrella policy that covers over because I do run 4 businesses and I don't know where my exposures are at any given time. So that umbrella policy will kick in once one of my other insurances are going to be exhausted. I also have this particular landlord, and this is something that is very, very cool. You can pitch them something called Sayrhino, Sayrhino, and it's an insurance program for landlords. Again, the most expensive part of being a landlord is the turnover rate. So when the property's turned over and they have possession of it once again, they've got to do new carpet again, they've got to paint, they've got to fix lights, they got to fix electrical. That's the most expensive part for them. So the Sayrhino program is really nice because your typical, when you rent from a landlord, typically you're going to have a security deposit involved. And every single time at the end of the lease, there's always that battle between landlord and tenant on who's going to get to keep the deposit. This completely eliminates all of that. And it's really nice because if I walk away from the property and I'm going to leave it broom cleaned and wiped down and all this good stuff, if there's any damages to the property that the landlord feels they need compensation for, they can then take out an insurance claim on this policy and be reimbursed for those repairs. Now, it just depends on what the landlord actually requires. In the state of Florida, you can put as much insurance. It's my understanding that you can put as much insurance as you want. You can make the policy for $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. So if you damage that home, they're going to get compensated so they can go ahead and put it back together once you're done with it. And it's a really great program. It's an insurance policy and it's super cheap. I think I got it for $200 for the whole year. And it's going to cover me up to $5,000 in damages. You can turn a 2-bedroom apartment in my area. You can turn it for $5,000 all day long. You can do new carpet, new paint, minor repairs and stuff like that with no problem. You pitch that to them and say, hey, I'm not going to screw up, but if I do, I have an insurance policy in play with you as the beneficiary, and you can take a claim out on me and get this unit put back together with very little to nothing out of pocket.
Terrific. So we got 2 more questions, Robert and Red. You guys prep up. I'll call on you in just a second. I wanted to touch base on the umbrella policy. I've had one of these for quite a few years. And quite honestly, guys, they're very, very reasonable. If you have a business, an LLC, a PA, you can get an umbrella policy pretty easily and for pretty reasonable. I have a $2 million policy on my everything that is under my George Monroe Philbeck PA. And that's a lot. So, and talk to your insurance carrier, because if you have your business, your real estate business, which is in my state is licensed, it has to be under my given name. But if I set up an LLC, that's the Jackie and George AirB&B LLC, I'd want to make sure my umbrella policy covers that part as well, because I am a single purchaser. They're not very expensive and they are incredibly valuable for security purposes. As your assets start to rise, consider the umbrella policy as a good insurance policy at which to get, because it does cover over and above your car insurance. Sorry, here's a footnote. All of you, every one of you that are doing fairly well as you're starting to grow your business, change your insurance in your car from $100,000 coverage to $250,000 coverage per incident. The reason I say to do this is $100,000 will go away like that. You will be done with it instantly. Your insurance company will go past it and they'll go to your assets. This is an expensive lesson that's really cheap right now. Please, please, please look into that. If you have assets valued at over $100,000, you need to increase your car insurance. It only costs you like $20 a month. It is worth it. Jay, can I get a hallelujah on that?
Hallelujah.
I know you identify with that, brother. I know you do. Yeah, let's go to Robert 100%. Real quick. And then Rob, we're going to go over to Red. And then I'm going to go back to the question I asked, which I forgot.
I've got it written down.
Thank you.
So Jay, ahead, my question is, how are you finding the right properties with the right zonings in your area?
Great question.
Ooh, good. Yeah, very good question. That kind of touches on the question that George was asking earlier, like where do you kind of go? There's very specific in Florida. There's a couple of places. A big no-no zone is actually where the majority of our group is in South Florida, the Boca Raton area. No Airbnbs. You cannot do Airbnbs in Boca. But the surrounding areas, West Palm Beach and a couple other areas, Fort Lauderdale, you can do Airbnbs. So you do have to do your due diligence. You not only have to call the municipalities, the local city, but you also need to call the county. And that's what I did for my particular area. I called the county, I called both the city, And they said, have fun, do whatever you want. Literally, one of them said, have fun, do whatever you want. We have no restrictions on Airbnbs whatsoever at this time, and just enjoy. And so that's really nice. But what you have to do is you do have to call the local authorities and say, hey, this is what I want to do. What does it look like? What are the fees? And some of them do have a specific tax for short-term rentals. And the reason they do that is because they give certain incentives to hotels, people who want to build a huge hotel. These cities, they beg for these things to come in. And when you come in with a short-term rental situation, you're disrupting the industry a little bit. So you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. Make sure you make your phone calls. As for picking whether you want to go for local or something out of state or out of town, that's totally within your comfort zone. That's going to be on an individual basis. A lot of investors recommend thinking outside the box. Anything near water is always going to be hot. And right now there has been an industry. So it used to be like a 70-30. It used to be 70% Airbnb hosts were making money on areas close to water, highly populated areas, New York, Miami, and things like that. Now it's kind of flipped. With COVID, it's flipped everything around. And all the Airbnbs that are doing very well are now over in the mountains, rural areas, out in Arizona and Montana and different state parks. So everything is kind of switched on that a little bit, but really it has to do with your comfort zone. And just like in the real estate business, in order to procure a landlord, you have to start making phone calls. You have to jump on Facebook, Craigslist, wherever you're going to find a rental, and try and reach out to these landlords directly. You can talk to a couple of agents about it. Those that are listed on the MLS. I haven't found much success in that. Really what it is getting a hold of the landlord directly. I find the sign on the side of the road that basically just, and you can tell it's for rent by landlord. And you want to reach out to them directly and just have a quick conversation. And sometimes it doesn't happen the first time. You might want to call them back again. Hey, have you reconsidered? So it really has to do with your comfort zone. Most of mine, or actually all of mine, are right here in my hometown. So I can have a little bit more control over it. Now that I'm doing that, I've been talking to landlords all over the country. I've been talking to landlords in the Carolinas. I've been talking to in the Smoky Mountains. I've been talking to some people and trying to get them on board with that situation. And what you really would like to do is find somebody with a really large portfolio, somebody who's got 100 units under them or 200 units. Those are the ones that in most cases, they're going to be a little bit more flexible for you.
Hey, Jay, final follow-up question on that one. In your area, are you required to register them and basically make sure that they pass for inspection, smoke detectors, things of that nature? Because I see it differ across Florida.
That's one of the positive things about renting from somebody with a large portfolio. They're going to have a lot of those things in place. As for my local municipality, they do not require that. They have like literally zero restrictions whatsoever, zero inspect. They don't have a department for that kind of stuff. Now, when you go to Tampa or Miami or different areas, Dallas, they're going to have things in play to kind of monitor those systems and take care of that stuff. But as for my local area, no, there's zero, there's nothing. You can slap it up on an Airbnb and start making money the next day.
Brad, on to you. George is distracted.
Yeah, go. Thank you very much for that, because this is important. You'll like what I'm doing.
Hey, Jay, when you're negotiating with these landlords, are you just trying to pay whatever market rent they were trying to get? Or once you present, hey, this is what I'm trying to do they seem to think, whoa, if you're going to make $4,000 a month and I'm only asking $1,000 a month, do you negotiate that rent?
Absolutely. Great question. No, I do not negotiate my cut of the deal. You explain to them the benefits of using them. All right. Who's rogue on the camera? Who's rogue on the mic? So
whoever's on,
you want to,
Tiffany, Joe, fix that, please.
So you do not want them cut into your profits whatsoever. Your deal with them is, listen, these are the benefits of using me as a tenant versus using your traditional tenant. I have had a couple of times where they say, well, if you're going to be making this, cut me in for 10%. Absolutely not. Nope. Move on to the next one. We're going to sign a lease for 2 years, for 3 years, even a year if you want. It just depends on the landlord. I'm going to sign a lease with you on a long-term basis. I'm going to take care of the short-term game, and just be real with them. Call them your business partner over and over. What does George do? Every time I talk to him, he tells everybody my business partner, my business partner. All of a sudden, you've already created a relationship that never existed before. Once you do that, you start to build rapport with them. They start to trust you a little bit more. Everything just starts to go from there. But no, absolutely not will they be involved in the business side of things. They're literally just going to collect their check. If it's a strong enough property, you can even pay them 6 months in advance or even a year advance. That's up to you in your comfort zone. But no, as for negotiating with them on the high side, absolutely not. I have been able to talk to a couple and said, hey, since the property is going to be in picture ready condition all the time, and you're welcome to inspect it anytime, could we work out, if I'm going to sign a 3-year lease, instead of $1,150 a month, can we go to $1,100 a month or $1,000 a month? And I have had a couple that would agree to do that.
The other thing I wanted to know, if you needed, if you walked into a property, let's say it needed fresh paint, or, I mean, you're looking at the property and getting a good ballpark idea of whether, yeah, this is going to work. I don't have to do any kind of upgrades or repairs or anything like that, correct? Or what are you doing in those type of situations? Hey, we got a great property in a great area, but it may need some cosmetics.
Yeah, you can run into that as well. Again, that's why I chose my particular investors. One is because I already have a relationship with them, but two, they're going to kind of let me do whatever I want for the most part within reason. So the one that I just picked up the other day that we were furnishing, I painted both the bathrooms. I called the landlord, said, hey, I'd like to paint both the bathrooms. Would that be cool? They said, we don't care. Do whatever you want to do. So, but yes, and that was another thing I wanted to bring up, George, is in this particular business model, the very best thing is, so when you typically purchase an Airbnb for yourself and for your portfolio, not only do you come up with the down payment, you come up with the closing costs you have to come up with, you have to furnish the thing. And then guess who's responsible for all major repairs? You are. You're responsible for all major repairs. Now with me, with rental arbitrage, it's not that way. I have zero liabilities when it comes to the maintenance of the building. I don't have to care for the air conditioner. I just make a phone call. I don't have to, the water heater, when the carpet becomes worn out over time due to normal wear and tear, they're going to have to replace the carpet. They're responsible for painting. They're responsible for the lighting on the outside. They're responsible for the trash. I don't have to pay for trash. So there's a lot of really amazing benefits about doing rental arbitrage versus going the traditional route of purchasing your Airbnb.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Okay, so I'm back, by the way. iPhone 13. I do not know who you are. Yeah. It says iPhone 13. What do you got?
Hi, do you hear me?
Yes, clearly. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, my name is Gatel. I don't know how to name my phone, so I'll just always be iPhone 13. Okay. My question is, I have a lot of clients that are constantly coming all year long to vacation in Champions Gate, Reunion, Encore, mostly those areas. And I'm looking for someone to team up with so that I could refer them to someone. I don't hear you at all.
I can help with that.
Just outside of Disney?
Sorry?
Is that just outside of the Disney gates?
That is right outside Disney. Yeah.
Yes,
Lorena's not here today, but Lorena is in that, or is our partner in that area.
All right.
All right.
So yeah, I don't want to become a property manager. It's way too much for me. I want to focus on selling homes, but I do need someone to work with so that I can refer multiple homes all year long.
Tiffany, can you get iPhone 13 hooked up with Lorena? Or Joe, I'll get with you afterwards.
Yes.
Or Will Matthews can help as well. I'm in Claremont, just right up the road.
Okay, great.
I'm in Kissimmee.
I can help you too, iPhone 13.
Okay.
I actually manage a house in Champions Gate for someone.
Oh, love this. All right. Let's see.
Jay,
Robert, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I did. Jay, what about the tax side of this? I mean, these are short-term rentals. You have to deal with short-term rental taxes, things of that nature.
CPA. Yeah, so you want to make sure you have a good tax accountant or CPA, but yeah, there are certain taxes and different brackets that you get thrown into, and special taxes. So my county actually, even though they don't really have any jurisdiction over Airbnbs at the moment, they do have a short-term, oh, what the hell do they call it? It's like short-term luxury tax or something like that. So there is a particular tax that I am supposed to pay my county. Now, are they going to come and find me? No, probably not. But I don't want to be audited or have any issues down the road. So I'm actually going to let my CPA know that that needs to be taken care of. So, but yeah, having a good CPA is going to help you out with that. I always recommend that. You know, I'm actually interviewing a new one right now that is a little bit more detailed with the multiple different businesses that I have going on. So it's quite complicated, but yeah, definitely want to make sure you get a good tax accountant.
Outstanding. Everybody get their mind going a little bit about Airbnb, saying, okay, there's a different way at which to do it. I don't necessarily have to buy a property. What y'all think? Has this been Jay, huge. And I have this to add. First, I want to share this real quick. If you're interested in Airbnb, I would strongly recommend you get short-term rental, long-term wealth. This is by Avery Carl. Avery is one of our business partners. You can get this, as I said, on Audible. Mine is in my phone as we speak. I'll be listening that today, as well as paperback, which will be delivered. It looks like you can get it delivered like instantly. If you want to know how to do it at a very high level, she has built an entire career, an entire business in 2 years, well, almost 3 years at this point, gone from pretty much not a whole lot of business at all to the top agent in my particular brokerage, selling hundreds and hundreds of homes and managing, obviously, a lot of Airbnbs. She's incredible. And I was just texting her, and she'll be on the call in about 2 weeks going over her Airbnb strategies. She said, I'd love to be on the call. I'd love to do it. So we'll have her on as a guest of ours shortly, which will be extraordinary. I am dying to hear what she has to say. So look for that one, because that's pretty big deal. To have Avery on the call would be huge, sharing what she does as well. So I wanted to bring that to everybody and just say, awesome. Jay, if we're good with this, is there anything else to cover on the Airbnbs that you guys want? Remember, we've got Avery coming on as well, and it's going to be a great piggyback on what Jay's pretty much started. I think the book will help you too, guys. If this is a business plan you want to explore, you've got the great foundation. Jay just gave it to you. Now, the second step is probably to give yourself a little more information. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then come back. I can tell you, Jay is an open book, not for where do I look, because that's pretty basic conversation, but he's an open book as far as, hey, I've got a challenge I'm running into. What do you suggest I do? That's the premise behind the GPS Global Partners. We help each other. Jay, we're not going to be able to get into it long and hard because it's 9:10 already. And we're going to do a hard stop in a few minutes, but let's tease them on a different one for you and I, maybe a couple of weeks from now, because I do want to get into time management. You have 4 different businesses going on. Is that fair?
Yes.
And I'm assuming you just shoot from the hip, meaning you basically say, well, I don't know what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to get up and I'll wing it, see what happens. And I mean, it all just comes together, right?
On the daily. No, it's just like, I learned a lot from you in joining the GPS group. I'm on my 3rd year now with you guys, and time blocking and time management is key. You have your routines first thing in the morning, you wake up, you exercise, brush your teeth, all this kind of stuff. And then my day kind of gets started. Yes, I do have 4 different businesses that I'm running at one time. I have a dumpster rental business. I just was hired about a month ago with my investors. I'm the project supervisor here in our area for their portfolio in this area. So they've hired me on full time for that. So I'm getting a full-time check for not really managing their property, but it's a construction supervisor. They're looking to force appreciation with our entire portfolio here in Ocala, Florida. So they've hired me to manage over that. So I've got that full-time going. I've got full-time real estate. And oh goodness, what's it? Oh, Airbnb. Yeah. So I've got Airbnb. 4 different things. I would say the key to helping me keep my sanity is having, first of all, an amazing wife. She's absolutely fantastic, and she helps me through a lot of things. But also having a virtual assistant. The virtual assistant is pennies compared to what they do. Now, while I'm doing things my goal each and every single day is not necessarily to run the business. My mentality, and I don't know if this works out for the rest of you, my mentality all day, every day is to meet and introduce myself to as many people as humanly possible. And what that does is that makes all of my businesses successful. So they start to find out, they're like, oh, you do this and you do this. Let me give you a little bit of an example. So Saturday, Ocala got hit with tornadoes. A lot of my friends and a lot of different people were impacted by that. And one of my really special friends, a tornado went right across their house, destroyed their roof, destroyed 4 of their cars, including a Dodge Hellcat. And it was just a disaster for them. I mean, it just was really not cool. I got that phone call and I said, you know what? I'm going to be there in 5 minutes. And I packed up one of my dumpsters. I ran down there. I threw it on the lawn. And this came from a pure, the desire to help my individuals, my neighbors, my friends. I wanted to help them. I took one of my dumpsters. I went out to that neighborhood. I dropped it right in the middle of the road. And I said, any and everybody who needs a place to throw some garbage, just throw it right here. That was just a small contribution that I can do. I started getting people shaking my hand left and right. My phone number's plastered on the side of the dumpster, and just it starts conversations like, hey, who are you? It's so nice that you're offering this for us, and yada yada. And then I tell them I'm in real estate. I tell them that we do Airbnbs, and we just start to have these conversations and bringing value to the community. Really, I mean, it kind of brings tears to my eyes, but it just love people. George tells you guys this all the time. Call somebody up and tell them that you love them. People need to hear this stuff. They need to know that there's good people in the world. When you do that, when you go out each and every single day and your goal is not to sell a house, selling a house, it just comes with the territory, guys. I promise you, go out, develop long-lasting relationships. Don't be that person that's just going to go out there and be like, I want to get a house sold. I want to get a listing today. That's fine. But if you develop long-lasting, strong relationships, they will tell 20 people about you. And that's truly how I get a lot of my real estate deals, is just by making friends with people within my community and offering to help them in times of need. I promise you, everything else just kind of falls into place. It truly does. So bring value to your community. That's my number one giveaway. But virtual assistant, to answer your question about time management, the virtual assistant is sending out emails. They're plugging people into my KV Core, my database. They're responsible for taking care of my database on a regular basis. They help me with my Airbnbs and scheduling with my different software. He helps with that. My schedule for my dumpsters, he puts it in different color codes on my calendar. So when I wake up in the morning, I know I got to go drop a dumpster. I don't know why I'm doing that. I just started that business a few months ago. So I'm trying to get it cash flowing enough to where I can hire somebody to do that. So, but right now, without my virtual assistant organizing my calendar properly, I would probably be lost. So that's how I mostly manage.
So I want to touch on the virtual assistant part real quick, because I think that we've got a lot of people that are going, oh my God, that'd be kind of cool. Joe is a virtual assistant for us. He's in the Philippines. Joe, say hi, everybody. That's Joe. Joe's the organizer and the brains behind this, along with Tiffany, and he is phenomenal. Now, there's, of course, different companies at which you can go to and you can find them. And we can talk about that at another time. They're very easy to locate. What you're looking for is somebody, like Joe. Joe is awesome. And quite honestly, yes, there is a financial benefit to having that. But more important than anything, it's great to have that support. And I have found virtual assistants, VAs that I've been using since really 2010. With the REO business, I had 5 of them that were working for me. They were amazing. Between Tiffany and Joe, I'm completely satisfied and I'm full up with what I need. But there's so many opportunities to have somebody support you in your business and where you're going. We can cover that at a later time. I don't want to get deep into that one. Maybe that's a topic we do go, and I can bring some virtual assistant houses together on the call for us. So we have a chance to talk to a couple different ones, see what it really looks like. But if you guys have an opportunity, you're not sure, just you want to get a little feel for it, reach out to Joe. It's easy to do. You can just call him. I mean, seriously, Joe, do me a favor. If you wouldn't mind, drop your phone number in the chat. I'm going to blow your phone up. Y'all remember, though, he's 12 hours different, so that you need to call him during regular hours, which for him are from about 8 in the morning until 1 o'clock Eastern time, or 2 o'clock Eastern time. That's 8 at night to 2 o'clock in the morning for him. So be respectful of that. But if you have a question, shoot him a text, say, hey, can I schedule a moment or two of call? And he can kind of fill you in on what you can expect. You're going to be amazed. So I love that you're putting them to use, Jay. I think that is phenomenal. I want to dive deeper into time management, but I think that the Airbnb really kind of took over. Folks, I'm going to give you this as far as time management. If it's not on your calendar, it's probably not going to get done. And I want to let you in on a little bit of a secret. If it's not on your calendar for tomorrow, that's where it has to be. You have to have your calendar set up a day in advance. Don't try and set it up that morning. It needs to be done ahead of time. You need to know, wake up tomorrow. I wake up today. I know exactly what my day looks like. Of course, I can plug other things in, but I already know where I have holes that I could do it. I put meetings around there. This is, if y'all haven't figured it out, I don't miss these calls. It's on my calendar. I literally have it blocked. It's over at 9:30 and my next call is at 9:30. That's why I get off every day at 9:30. What does your calendar look like? What does your schedule look like? Because time management is controlling what comes into your world. However, I'm going to plagiarize the hell out of Jay. It's also controlling your ability to get out and meet as many people as you possibly can. Jay, I love that is your philosophy. That resonated so clearly with me. That your mission is to meet as many people as you possibly can. And the dumpster is a great mechanism.
Oh yeah, I've picked up quite a few listings from the dumpster business alone because I'm the first person that they meet. And I let them know, hey, I'm in the real estate business. What were you planning on doing with this property? But to touch on what you were saying about not time blocking and not time management, I've got an awesome, I know you're getting ready to go. My son yesterday alone, because I told him if he helped, he's homeschooled and he's 13 years old. He helped us on Saturday, set up the whole Airbnb. And guys, this is fun for the family. We were putting furniture together, hanging TVs on the wall, and just really having a great time as a family, knowing that we're bettering our future. I told him, if you help us on Saturday, because Saturday is his day his fun day. You know, he gets the weekends to himself. I said, if you help us on Saturday, I'm going to give you Monday as your free day. He said, oh, that would be great, Dad. Well, my son decided to stay up a little late the night before, which is okay with me as a parent. I know everybody has their own style, but he stayed up a little late the night before. And guess what time my son woke up, because he doesn't have anything on his calendar. He woke up at 3:00 in the afternoon. He was destroyed. He said, oh my God, it's 3:00 in the afternoon. I've got no more of my day left. And guys, if you don't put things on your calendar, the same thing's going to happen to you. You're going to go grab a bowl of Cheetos. You're going to look up. It's going to be 4:00 in the afternoon and you made no money today. So it's very important that you time block. My son learned a very valuable lesson. He woke up at 3:00. His whole day was toast. He had no time to do anything and he learned a valuable lesson. So I think that's where George is coming from. Make sure you time block, put it on your calendar, and your database are the three big things for me that you just keep pushing and develop relationships. And guys, everything else, I promise you, it'll all fall into place.
Absolutely. Wow. Jay, I can't thank you enough. I definitely want to bring you back for time management. You and I can have a lot of fun on that one. Do a call on that. We'll do that in probably first week of April, if that's all right with you. And I'll let you know so we can schedule it ahead of time. I think that'd be a great fun class. This has been phenomenal. And I can't thank you enough because it prompted me to reach out to Avery, and Avery Carl will be on one of our mastermind calls in the very near future. If you are even remotely interested in the idea of Airbnbs, you want to make sure you attend that one. I would advise you, if you're interested at all, get Short-Term Rental, Long-Term Wealth, get the book. You need to have it. Jay, you're awesome, man. We were talking yesterday. This is where this came from. I had something else planned today, but Jay and I had a conversation just because we do all the time. And he was telling me about this. I'm like, oh, we have to share this. Dude, you are a rock star. God bless you and good job, man.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
We think. Round of applause, air applause for Mr. J. Way to go, brother. Thank you, sir. All right. Let's open it up for some Q&A. We've got another 9 minutes or so before I'm going to have to hop off and get to do my stuff that I normally do. Anything else for Jay or anything else for the greater good?
Yeah. George.
Yes, sir.
Jay, I love you. I'm proud of you. You know, I see that the Falco blood, actually it's the Difalco, Difalco, folks, just so you know. Difalco. We got changes at Ellis Island. But here's a young man. I mean, just what, 2.5 years now, Jay? He came in and he said, what are we going to do in the business? And I mean, it's amazing. And yet I get on calls every day. What do I do? And you know, I know, and this is not, when I say things like this is not a negative, it's a positive. I want to, someone says, hey, I need one today, a virtual assistant. Google. You go type in virtual assistant, you'll have 14 calls to make. I found mine 3 years ago by going to Google. And then I started talking to 2 or 3 different people and interviewing, and I selected one. I just got off the phone with the meeting with mine. So please take responsibility for your success, because it's so simple. It's just so simple. And Jay, did that all happen the first month in the business? How long did it take you to get your first sale?
3 months, because I was doing it part-time.
Hello. Yeah. Because
once I dove into it full time and gave it my full attention, I got my first deal in the first week.
Right. Because he was, that concern of the, transitioning from what he was doing in landscaping, and it's amazing. And where did you come up with the dumpster idea?
I was actually interested in that for years, and then I saw a need in the market, and I didn't even realize that it was going to help me in real estate as much as it has been. I've been picking up listings here and there, and not only that, it's been helping my rental business. I'm also responsible for leasing out over 200 different units in Ocala here. I guess that would be job number 5, maybe. So that's, we actually are adding to our portfolio tomorrow. In fact, we're adding another 200 units tomorrow with my investors. So now I'm going to be responsible for leasing out over 400 different units here in my local town. So it also helps me with that.
2.5 years. Business is not good or bad out there. It's good or bad up here. What's your number one job? Information. What's your second highest and most priority in your life is think. Use what God gave you. Think. How many people text me questions and I go, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. Go to Google, go to YouTube.
Fred, I know we're jumping into kind of after hours here, but I want to tell you the story behind the investors that I have. The only reason I got these people, and it was actually, I think it was from you, and you were telling me, you said, Jay, just always answer your phone. If you have the opportunity to answer the phone, just answer the phone and talk to people. So what I did was I'm on the EXP with our particular brokerage. For anybody who's visiting, we have a proprietary workplace. It's kind of like a Facebook platform. And on there, we have a referral network. And that referral network, there was a referral that came across for Ocala, and it said, need rental agent as soon as possible, something along those lines. Now in South Florida, to procure a rental client or a tenant, you're going to get paid halfway decently. Usually it's 1 month worth. So you're going to get maybe $1,500 to $2,000 or even $3,000 in some cases. We don't have that here in my area. Our compensation as a buyer's agent for a renter is like $50. It literally is like $50, maybe $100. They'll give you a referral. That's not even worth doing the paperwork. I'm going to be honest with you. So when I saw this come across on the referral network, first thing I did was rental. Oh God, I don't want to deal with that garbage. And then I remembered what you said. You said it's an opportunity to make a relationship. So I said, you know what? I'll call them. So I called the person and I said, hey, I just want to talk to you a little bit. You had a client that's looking for a rental, and just to let you know, our rental market here is really, really rough, but I'm happy to try and help where I can. I just looked on the MLS. We only have 12 rentals, period, in my town. That's how bad it is. We only had like 12 rentals on that. So, but depending on their budget. And she's like, whoa. She's like, slow down. And I says, what's up? She says, I don't know what the heck you're talking about, but she said, that's not what I need. She said, I have a couple investors that own apartment complexes here in Tampa. She said, and they're looking to purchase a couple of apartment complexes there in Ocala, and they need an agent to lease out the units for them. And when I say my tone changed so fast, and ever since then, it's been crazy.
I hope the recording's still on. Is the recording still on?
Oh, yeah. Yep, don't worry about it. We got it.
And, guys, this is why, look, 67 people on the call. I just, watch out, guys. I'm starting to get really autocratic here. Because what Jay just said to you, what's that?
I'll tell you, it's that one phone call, that one phone call that I decided to stop what I was doing and actually pick up the phone and call the person. So far this year, we're only in the month 3. So far this year has generated over $15,000 for my family. And that we're only in the 3rd month of this year. And last year it was probably 20 or 25,000 because it's recurring. Every time they turn a unit, I get paid. So it's just always pick up I know it's annoying, guys, when somebody calls you like, why can't they just text? It can be annoying to pick up that phone these days, but just pick up the phone and have that conversation with the person. Why do you think I'm here today? Because I had a conversation with George the other day about needing some help on the calls. I have a super, super busy schedule, but these calls are extremely beneficial for building your business. Some of you guys have been on here for years at this point. I know Deep and Will and all these guys, it's just absolutely fantastic. But it goes back to what I was telling you guys earlier in the conversation is the relationship. Just learn, just meet people and bring value to them. And everything else, I promise, will just start to fall into place as long as you time block and manage and do these other things that you're supposed to be doing. But that's the key is building relationships.
And as you get exposed to people like myself and George and Tom, and you hear these stories over and over again, I had a retired agent for me that worked many years ago in 1990. He got a call. The guy was a pain in the neck, an attorney from Chicago, wanted a winter place. Hey, we just drove him crazy, but Marty was just consistent. He was in the business of giving information, following up. So he got this guy a condo. When it was all finished at the closing, he turns to Marty and he says, look, I'm going to give you this card, but you've got to promise me that this is of utmost confidence and you do not discuss it with anyone. It is, if it gets out to the public, we don't want it out to the public, but this is my client that I want you to call because he needs property down here. That's why I'm coming. And it was Don King, the fighting promoter, with his personal cell number, which turned into about $90 million worth of business for Marty, who was already in retirement. And it was incredible. So guys, please, please, please get the hell out of your houses. Get out there in the restaurant, get into Panera, wherever you go. I don't care, but talk to people. That's what Jay's saying. And rentals, whatever it is, you don't know until you know. So, Jay, fantastic. I'm glad I jumped on. And again, here you go. I just got hung up in a meeting with my marketing people and my Instagram. It was just, and I said, oh my gosh, I got so much to do. I should jump on the call for at least the last half hour. Again, thank you, Jay, that you blessed me, man. Thank you. Love you.
Absolutely. I love all my business partners here with the GPS group.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that greatly. We got Jonathan real quick, and then I'm going to say my final piece and turn it over to the after party. Jonathan, hit it, brother.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I just want to reiterate something that Fred keeps telling me over and over again, and it's take the action. Stop being lazy. We all want to text people on our phone because it's convenient for you, but it's not about you. It's about the people you're trying to help. Remember that. So if you want to be busy, you really have to be busy. You can't be in your own head. You have to get out of your own head, be uncomfortable, do the things that you don't like to do. And you will find that success comes with that. Be uncomfortable, make yourself uncomfortable, especially at work. You will do better. You will do better because you want to become comfortable. It's innate in our DNA. We want to do things that make us comfortable. But in order to get there, you got to, trudge through the swamp, essentially.
And Jonathan, to piggyback on that, when you become a master is when you get comfortable with your uncomfortableness. Seriously, as you were saying, I'm uncomfortable with it, but you know what? I had it last night. I was in bed, and I just happened because I was doing some meditation, and I had a thing on my face that it's like a little massage or something. I just went out, and I woke up just enough to turn the light off and ready to go to bed. And I looked, and two people would text me. Okay. And I went, you got to be kidding me. Tomorrow morning, I went, wait a minute. I'm not sure whether she's finishing this package. Maybe she needs this. I was uncomfortable getting up and doing it. I went, no, let's see, service. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And I took care of two things. It cost me 25 minutes, but I was uncomfortable doing it, but then I got comfortable and I went to bed and had a much sweeter sleep than I would have had if I was, man, I'll do it tomorrow. So get comfortable with your uncomfortableness and just keep moving. Action. Okay. focus goes where, you know, our energy flows where focus goes. So focus on this, folks.
Right,
Focus.
Fred? Isn't it you who always tell me, stop talking and take action?
Yep.
Stop writing it down and do it. Just do it. If you're afraid to call somebody, so what? Call them. What's the worst that's going to happen? Click. Call somebody else.
Oh, you know what, Jonathan? I'm going to piggyback with what you guys are saying and kind of wrap this up. If you're going to call somebody, call them with the intention of making their day better. You'll know how I finish this, guys. I finish this with every single day. I want you to go out there and tell somebody you love them. Tell them that they're important, that they matter, that they actually make a difference, because you never know when it's the exact perfect time and they need to hear that. But it also applies to business. If you come from contribution in your business calls, if you come from contribution in everything you do, if it's not, I've got commission breath, but it's how can I serve and help? And more importantly, even if I can't serve and help, I want you to know that you're an amazing person and I really love having you as a part of my world, and telling people that you're grateful for them. You'd be amazed how wonderful it feels to hear that somebody's grateful for your existence. It changes your entire physical being. You sit up straighter, you feel better, and it's not ridiculous. It's genuine. It gets inside of you. Y'all know this feeling when you do something for somebody and they go, my God, that's just awesome. I just can't thank you enough. That's a good feeling. Go out there and tell people that they're important, that you love them. If you do that, this is database 101, by the way, in every aspect of everything you're doing, the entire world is based on your ability to tell other people that they matter, because that's when they start to trust you. And that's where business comes from. Now it's 9:30 and I at 9:30 hop, because that's when my other time block starts. I want you guys to know that you're awesome. You're incredible. And I'm entirely grateful. Jay, you rocked it. That was so cool. And because of that, we now have literally the queen bee. Avery Carl will be on a call in the next couple of weeks, kind of going over this and taking it maybe to the next level, or showing us what the potential is. Guys, she's going to do $1 billion in sales this year. Y'all let that sink in. $1 billion in sales.
And George, she got started while she was, I think she was pregnant when she first got started in business. Hasn't been in the business that long.
A couple years.
She met up with Tony on social media. You know, and again, people go, oh, well, that's her. If she's able to do it, you're able to do it. But not if that's not your, you know, so let's energy. By the way, I put in the Facebook, in the chat, the Facebook group, 101,000 step challenge. Again, it's not about the steps. It's about just get moving. I don't care how much you move, and get your reprogramming done, folks. Last night, I strained to get out and get the rest of my steps in last night. I really did. But once I got out there, I came across this positive intelligence you're going to be hearing about tomorrow. Don't miss tomorrow, positive intelligence. And I couldn't stop walking after I got started. So it's always the starting that is the challenge, right? So please join me in that group. I'm going to see some lives change with that, because I'm now finding these books that are the scientific proof that the movement with the input of the information makes it that much more powerful. It's incredible. So I'm going to have a blast with that. I can't stop walking. I'm like Forrest Gump.